Okay. So good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining this broker forum. I'm Jeff Albee. I'm the current 2022 chapter president of the Greater Los Angeles chapter of CCIM. And we appreciate everybody's participation. And so without further ado, I want to thank our sponsors, because without them, we could not do this broker forum. We're going to highlight one of our new sponsors today, but as you can see on the slide, we've got quite a lot of sponsors this year. CoStar being our platinum, and then we've got 10X, Sharpline, and Lineage Asset Advisors as our gold sponsors. So we can look at these other silver sponsors, not to just gloss over them, because each one of them is very important, but we won't take the time today to talk about each one. But we do have a sponsor that we're highlighting today from Silicon Valley Bank. Mr. Claude Harris has joined us and is going to say a few words. I'm going to start off, Claude, by asking you, I love the name Silicon Valley Bank. Sounds like you come out of the Bay Area, but I know Boston Private is also merged, or I'm not sure how that all came together. Maybe we can start off with a little bit about the name and Boston Private as well.
Well, Silicon Valley Bank is around a $60 or $65 billion bank, putting us right at the top 10 level for the US. They acquired Boston Private Bank around 1 year ago on July 1st of last year. And I was with Boston Private, and I've been there or here for 11 years. I've been in the industry since 1996 with Great Western Bank. That's where I started back in the mid 90s. Anyway, I'm very happy to be part of the forum today. I'm director of the CRE lending in Southern California, but we can lend nationally. We're a cash flow lender, so we primarily look at stabilized properties. That's the hope. However, we do a lot of bridge loans with earnout provisions, and that tends to be probably half our business. I prefer the stabilized property, much easier to get approved. So obviously we do multifamily, industrial, retail. Office is not as prevalent as it used to be, but office. I'm working on a $35 million hotel loan right now, which we're not supposed to be doing, but we like the sponsor. So there's always that. Our loans range from 5 million to 15 million. However, I have many loans between 2 and 5 that I've done over the years, and I'm working on a few right now for existing clients. That's what that usually tends to be. Over 15 million, they have to go to different levels of approval. We just did a $120 million loan for a large fund. Like I said, I'm working on a $35 million loan, but our sweet spot is 5 to 15 million. Our fixed rates are fairly decent for multifamily. For 5 years fixed, 7-year fixed, we're looking in the high 4% range. Of course, we can make exceptions to go lower depending on what kind of relationship they may or may not bring over for wealth or deposits. And then for commercial office buildings, et cetera, it's about 25 basis points more, which would put us at around the 5.10, 5.15% rate right now for a 5-year fixed. We can do fixed rates 3, 5, 7, and 10. We do have interest only available for up to 5 years by policy. They tend to like to have a story behind it, like we just finished stabilizing the property. We'd like to get a 2 years of IO to complete the process and get some good history on expenses. But if the LTV is low enough and the guy just wants 5 years of IO, we can do that. Everybody always asks us for 10 years of IO. It's very difficult for us. but we've done it before, like on a 30% LTV loan. We just said, what the hell? You want to, we'll do that. Our minimum debt service coverage for multifamily is set to 120 by policy, and that's pro forma debt service coverage. We use 30-year amortization. For the commercial loans, office, retail, the others, it's 125 debt service coverage ratio. So you can easily, also with 30-year amortization, you can easily size your own loans if you have an accurate NOI, after accounting for some collection loss and vacancy, and maybe 5% for reserves / offsite property management, just general numbers. One thing we do, which I don't believe most of the other banks do, is we look at actual taxes. So if an owner's owned a property in California anyway for a long time, he may have a $30,000 property tax, which we will use in our debt service coverage analysis. But the property might be worth 30 million, which means it should be more like $350,000. So that gives you a big bump to make that debt service coverage in today's low cap rate environment. Our max LTV by policy is 80% multifamily, 75% commercial. That's just not going to happen in California. Other states possibly, but we tend to see a lot of stuff in the 60 to 70% range, or 50% or lower. I mean, that's, with the rates being higher now, that's just where the debt service ends up sizing the property. Silicon Valley Bank was generally expecting our clients to have either scientific community or tech backgrounds. I told them, I said, that's, when we got back into the business with them, I said, that's not going to work. Most tech guys don't own buildings. But so we've morphed that into, tech tenants, tech alliances, whatever, or just the straight old fashioned high net worth families, large family offices, large funds is who we like to lend to. We do non-recourse lending if the LTV is low enough, and if we have a good background on the sponsors. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. If you need to contact me, please reach out. My email address is CL, like the first part of Claude, CL Harris, HARRIS at svb.com, CL Harris at svb.com. And I just want to thank you for your time this morning.
If you would, DJ, please put that in the chat for Claude so that people can see it and pull it down. And then if for whatever reason you can't reach Claude, you can always reach me and I can get you in touch with Claude. So I know the 10-year, Claude, I was going to ask you, has been moving. It's been quite volatile, went up to, I guess, almost 3.5. And then drop down. I think it's at like 2.8 today, something like that. Have the rates moved along that with that, or did they just go up and not go down, or what happened there?
No, when I price them, they do go down, but we don't really follow the 10-year treasury. Our index does somewhat follow the 10-year treasury. We use at this point, we're using the Boston FHLB plus a margin of 2 to 2.25%. I'm working on one right now with a 190 margin. Those index rates can be found at FHLBBoston.com. So that's 2 B's in a row, FHLB and then BOSTON.com. You can go to their rates and look under the left column, REG, and those are the indexes we use for fixed. Of course, that's changing. We're trying to get either with the Treasury program, like you just stated, or move over to the San Francisco FHLB indexes.
Hey, Albert, would you mute your phone, please? I can see that you're not muted. Okay, well, good. Interesting. I think, so what you're saying is that 10-year up and down didn't affect you too much. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but I noticed that rates had gone up, of course, with the 10-year moving quickly, and then they never really went back down unless I'm missing something.
Well, no, if the index went down, our rates would have gone down.
Okay. All right.
I mean, but then we don't lock the rates. So while we're in the process, the rates can go up and down, and then eventually you'll get your final rate. We can you know, we're looking at setting up a rate lock program. We just don't really have a canned one in place yet.
Good. All right. Well, that's interesting. I know that when I was introduced to the bank through your Silicon Valley office, that you guys wanted to get in more active down here in Southern Cal. I don't think I had, of course, knew about Silicon Valley Bank, but I did know Boston Private. So it's good to see you guys down here and really getting more active with the name, and appreciate your support of the chapter.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the listings today that we're actually going to talk about. I know, Albert, you've got a listing we're going to be able to talk about at the end that didn't make it onto today's slides. So why don't we start with the first one, DJ? And wow, there's some famous people. Start off with myself. How did we get to be first? Do you want to talk, Yvonne, about this listing?
Yeah, sure. So this one is an absolute triple net listing in Palm Springs, single tenant Del Taco, corporate guaranteed lease. You may know Jack in the Box bought Del Taco in March this year. And so Del Taco has a long occupancy at this location since 2007. And it's right across the street from a shopping center, anchored by a 99-cent store, and also it's close to downtown and Palm Spring Airport. And this property features the drive-through, which provides the convenience for the customers. And in general, stores with drive-throughs have higher sales than the stores without drive-throughs. 5 years remaining on the initial lease, and which will end in 2027, but with one 10-year option and one 4-year option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
then the numbers you can see, yeah, on the slide. The price is 2.6, cap rate 4.5%, and buy side fee is 2%.
what's the seller's motivation? Why are they selling?
It's a part of a portfolio sale, and the owners, they just passed away.
So they're not going to be needing this anymore. No. So yeah, that was the point. The owners have passed away, so we're selling this on behalf of the trust. The fiduciary is, and for the benefit of a charity, actually is going to receive the proceeds. So it's a great property and a great location. It's always done very well. So if anybody's got an exchange buyer, that's ideal property. Does anybody have any questions?
How much flexibility is there in the price or cap rate that you need to hit?
Well, first thing, seeing that picture, I gotta wonder if you lost the address of your barber, young man.
I threw it out the window 2 years ago.
You're smart. You look great.
Thank you.
So there is a little room on this one, actually. We've had it listed for a couple of months. We had a deal put together that fell apart. And so, yeah, there is a little room. Is it 100,000? Is it 200,000? I'm not sure. Probably maybe at that 2.5 range. Yeah, so maybe a little bit, maybe 4 3/4. So.
Okay. Do you know how this store performs relative to the rest in the chain or in the general area?
Unfortunately, the lease, and we requested for Del Taco and they said, well, since it's not in the lease, they're not going to provide it. I do know, like Yvonne had said, they've been there since '07. They've done quite well there. They're actually building a big medical building across the street as well. Highway 111, as you know, is the main drag through Palm Springs. This is really not far from there at all. And so, no, I don't know exactly that answer to that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Greg. So what's up next, DJ? Okay. Jack in the Box, Yvonne. You're up again.
Yeah, here's another absolute triple net listing in Menifee. Single tenant Jack in the Box, corporate guarantee lease with scheduled increases. Also has drive-through. So this Jack in the Box is located on a pad in the Menifee Town Center and anchored by Ralph's, Ross, and Living Spaces. It has been successfully operated at this location since the building first opened in 1998. So 7 years remaining on the initial lease, and which will end in 2029, but with 4 5-year options. And the numbers on the slide, the price 3.8, cap rate around 4.5%, buy side fee 2%.
Actually, both of those listings, the Del Taco and the Menifee Jack in the Box, has 10% increases every 5 years.
Cap.
So they,
Yeah, cap at 10%.
yeah, capped it. But yeah, theoretically, they should be right around 10. So this location is that, I don't know who's been out to Menifee lately, but that area is just booming. I mean, there's new housing all over. And this is right off the freeway, the 215 that cuts out of Temecula and Murrieta and then goes up into Riverside and then connects up, I think, with the 15 into Las Vegas. So that area is really growing, and a lot of industrial growth out in that market as well. So it's another really good property. There's a little room on this property, and both of them again have 2% buy side fees. Any questions? All right, let's move into Bakersfield with Bentley McKean, fellow CCIM out of Kidder Matthews. Bentley, are you on the call? Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, there we
no.
go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. How are you, Bentley?
How are you doing? Well, Jeff, how have you been?
Very good. And what office are you located in?
I'm in the Century City office.
Okay. There you go, the nice high rise. Linda Lee from Kidder Matthews is our incoming president out of your Pasadena office. She's not on the call today.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's coming in
Okay.
as the 23 president of the Greater Los Angeles chapter. Very, very educated, nice lady. Worked with her a lot over the last couple of years. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'll have to network with her. So yeah, this deal, it's a good deal. I was just by the property yesterday. You know, incredibly busy and dense area. So the story here is the gentleman, the current seller, he owns the business. He gave the buyer of the business kind of a sweetheart deal on the lease, and they're about 90% under market on the several value add opportunities here. It's actually 3 buildings that sits on 2 parcels. And, you could either, separate those and lease them out to separate tenants, or, keep it as the same. This is priced at $97 per square foot south of downtown Bakersfield. It's on the right side of the Union Street. It is not the best area you wouldn't want to go walking around there at night, but it's a really good place to conduct business. It's kind of in the corner of the 58 and 204 freeway there.
Okay, so multi-tenant industrial looks like, right? I mean, so we're
It's single tenant right now, but it has the potential to be multi-tenant.
oh, okay, so it's single tenant, okay. And then so this business owner sold the business, and then the new buyer leased it back for 2.5 years?
Correct, yeah. Or for
Okay.
3 years, it's been about 6 months.
Okay,
And there's some flexibility on the price here. The owner, he has some 1031 exchange at what he's already identified. He just wants to get on the property to move forward with this.
all right, good stuff. Anybody have any questions? I've got one more question, Bentley. What's that construction type? Is most of it metal buildings and then some block, or what do you got?
Yeah, so it's almost 50-50. The block building on 117 was built in, I think it was the 80s, and then the other buildings are metal. And they're a little bit newer, but they're metal.
Okay, I know that Bakersfield market is doing really well, and industrial seems to be the darling in our business. At $100 a foot, that looks like a pretty good deal. So thank you for presenting. And anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, Bakersfield in the middle of August, there's nothing better. Unless you go to Santa Barbara, maybe in the middle of August. All right, so Charlie Romanak, are you on, Charlie? Don't see him in the queue. So let's talk a little bit about Charlie's listing here. Yeah, I don't see him. All right, so you can see this little building on Ventura Boulevard. That looks like it's right by Balboa. Yeah, and that's a really good area. I'm not sure exactly about this deal, but we can all see Charlie's information there if you want to reach out to Charlie. If you got a buyer, reach out. There's a 2% buy side fee. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, Michael Pormerza. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. Michael, are you on the call? Let's see, I don't see him in here either.
Jeff, Michael confirmed and Charlie confirmed just last night that they cannot attend this forum today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, we can see what we have here. Looks like a development site in Manhattan Beach with a covered land play. Love that word. So some income while you try to do something with these 3 parcels in Manhattan Beach. So there's Michael's information. If you want to reach out directly to Michael, you've got his email and phone number. I know Michael for many years, a good broker. All right, so then let's move on. Okay, I wonder if we have Jack or David today.
I think Jack is here.
Hey guys.
Hi, Jack. You want to tell us a little bit about this Soledad Canyon Road property?
Yeah, so it's it's one of our more interesting projects. It was basically built initially as a medical office building. The sellers, the current owners, took over the property from the bank. It was 70% completed at the time. They finished all the construction on the property and built it as a medical office. At the time, they were really shooting for a single tenant type usage, which they weren't able to do. And we kind of approached them. We looked at the various repositioning options, one of which being senior housing. So we went through that cycle. At the time when we marketed it, we had a lot of interest, but we didn't have a CUP in place, which is what it required. We went through the process and just recently obtained the CUP. So, you know, now you're left with different options. You can redevelop it into a senior housing project, continue potentially as a medical office building, or there's various different types of usages, including, you know, potentially a school or just regular office. So you have a lot of different options, but it's an amazing property. It's a great, you know, great location. Demographics are strong, and you have a lot of different options with it. Yeah, David's here as well. So as far as replacement value, I mean, it's 2 levels of subterranean and just really well built construction on the office side. So it's well below replacement value.
And is that Facey Medical next door or?
Correct. Facey Medical is right next door to us.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that area looked familiar. So yeah, a good owner user would be ideal, obviously, and or some sort of operator of assisted living or something in that neighborhood.
Exactly. And we've been tight on pricing for a while, but I think we've gotten to the point where they're very motivated to sell. So it's time to strike a deal on this one.
Yeah, the construction costs alone have to be worth that price. That's for sure. The replacement costs be a small fortune today to build that.
Yeah. And the subterranean goes lot to lot, so it's not just the footprint of the building. It encompasses the entire lot. So it's a very unique, interesting property. It just takes, you know, either, like you said, an owner user, somebody needing a good amount of parking, or somebody that has a good strategy as far as senior housing or potentially medical office.
Okay, well, good stuff. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. And all right, I guess we'll go on to the next group. Danny, are you on the call?
Danny did not respond to the invite, and I've tried calling him. He did not respond as well.
Okay.
So possibly, yeah, it's not here.
All right, well, we can see see what we have here. Looks, yeah, kind of unique here. Some office and then maybe a little bit of industrial. So, yeah, we can all see his name and email address. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Danny. So let's move on to the next one. All right. Got every listing from Peak today. That's great. Rami.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, Rami.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. The property is an L-shaped strip center. It's located on a signalized hard corner of Broadway and Florence in South Los Angeles. A very, very high traffic intersection, over 63 cars on the corner, 6 units, and 1 vacancy or empty space. That's the end cap unit on Florence, which is used by the owner for storage right now. A very, very dense infill area. Very good tenant mix. We got a donut shop on the end cap on Broadway, nail salon, Chinese place, and a couple of other tenants out there. It's a value add type deal. We're netting about 110 grand based on the taking into account taxes at the sale price of 2.325, and it's a stabilized around a 7 cap. So really, a really good upside on this in a very dense infill area.
Okay. So that's what's the occupancy on that?
72%.
Okay.
The end cap unit is about 1,770 square feet. That's vacant. But yeah, so the cap rate on current is taken into account the vacancy. It's probably one of the lowest price point L-shaped strip centers out in the LA market. And on a price per square foot basis, we're at $372 a foot, which is also extremely low for this type of product. Most of the other comps are north of $400 or $500 a foot.
Okay, good. Does anybody have any questions for Rami? All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Rami. All right, so we'll keep along working with Peak here. And is William White on the line?
He said he cannot attend for today's forum, Jeff.
Okay. All right, so you can see this vacant building. Looks like an owner user industrial office building. So you can all reach out to William if we have any interest, and can move on to the next one. And yeah, with William not being there, yeah, car wash and gas station here. So or actually it looks like it's well, maybe gas station and then also a lube that is subleased out or something. So if anybody has any interest, you can see William's phone number there as well. And we will go in to see Becky. Except looks like what we have here, is that a house? Hopefully that's not a house, but it looks like it's not because it's got some things off there, but all right. Yeah, guys, make sure we don't have any houses in there if that's what that is.
It's not, it's a healthcare facility. Hi, can you hear
Oh,
me?
there you are.
I'm Becky Shreve, yes. I have been in this business for over 30 years like you do. As all I do is healthcare facilities. And I was a top salesperson for the 2 years in the top healthcare facilities broker for 2 years nationwide. And this is a listing that I have in Granada Hills. There's 7 bedrooms, 6 for all private clientele. And it's the sellers are moving to another state. So she's ready to sell, and she's also going to she's gonna allow the new buyer the use of her license until the buyer gets her own. And also she's gonna be willing to train. So this is a healthcare facilities for the elderly and the all private clientele. So.
Okay, well, good. Good, so,
Good. Is it good? Any
well, I
questions?
don't know. It depends on
Any
the kind of
questions? Please give me a
services
call.
provided.
Give me a call if you have any other questions. This is all I do, so I know what I'm doing. Healthcare
All right.
facilities is all I do, yeah.
That is definitely good, Becky. We need someone that knows what they're doing.
That's
All right.
I-
Let's
That's
move
okay.
on then. Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
All right, I know Robert was running a little late today. Was he able to make this call? Yeah, he texted me this morning saying he was going to be late. So we have seen this before, but we know it's really a development site. And we can see the information. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Robert. But I do know this is a covered land play, and then ultimately a development site. So I think, is there another one here that, yeah, okay, so yeah, this is also Robert's in Palm Springs. Okay, got a pub, it looks like, with the business opportunity.
Yeah, it says here, business is offered $1.6 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're interested in operating a pub in Palm Springs in the summer, this is perfect for you. So if you have any questions, reach out to Robert. There's his information there, of course. And let's move on to the next one. All right, Greg, you are up.
All
Woodland
right,
Hills.
thank you. Yeah, this is the northeast corner of Ventura Boulevard and DeSoto Avenue, right off the 101 freeway in Woodland Hills. It's about a 64,000 square foot retail shopping center. About a third of the square footage is second floor, 2/3 on the ground level. It's 94% occupied. We have 1 vacancy on the second level. Ownership recently repaved the lot, repainted and fixed up some of the waterproofing issues that they had previously had. So most of the deferred maintenance has been completed on this property in the last year. You have a projected 2023 NOI of $1,126,000 and change. We're shooting for a 5 cap, which puts you right at around 22.5 million. There is some flexibility in pricing. depending upon how quickly a buyer can perform and their other motivation. We will not engage in any sort of a redevelopment opportunity. We don't want a long drawn out escrow. We want someone who will look at it for what it is, buy it quickly, and take advantage of a cash flowing asset right off the bat. We have some really strong tenants in the property that have been here for a while. One side of the second floor is occupied by a beauty trade school. They just bought the former tenant's business, but these operators have been in the business in general for decades, so they're established and really fortifying about half of the second floor space. The other occupied space on the second floor is a bridal salon that has been in the property in a different unit on the ground floor for about 25 years. We moved them upstairs last year. So the second floor, other than the one vacancy, is really secure right now. All the tenants are on net leases. There are a couple that have some limitations on the nets, but even with a sale around our asking price, the triple nets are not going to change more than about 5 to 7 cents a square foot. So it's low triple nets, really affordable for the tenants to maintain and continue to operate their business. It's a great property, prime corner location in Woodland Hills, and a really good cash flowing asset.
That's the property right next to Target, right?
Correct. There is an easement with the Target property for access. There are driveways heading out to DeSoto through our property that have to remain accessible for access to and from the Target property. Our clients have the ability to drive through the Target property to head out toward Ventura Boulevard to head east because there's a stoplight over there. It's easier to go that way. But yeah, it's right next to Target. This is on the corner. It has signage facing the freeway, signage facing Ventura Boulevard. Really, really huge traffic counts, both at the intersection on Ventura and on the freeway.
Yeah, that's very, very well located, and yeah, I'm surprised the occupancy is doing good here during COVID and still above 90%, which is really testament to the property and the leasing team.
Yeah, we had a fair amount of vacancy for a while. We started offering below market rents and just getting tenants into the property, and it's full and cash flowing and doing really well. So there's definitely some upside in future rents as well as leases roll over, but you have stability for quite a while.
Yeah, I know. I'll mention this to Linda Lee from Kidder Matthews in Pasadena. She was just telling me she's got a big exchange client that's looking for this type of product.
Great.
So she's in Pasadena and the incoming president of CCIM. So I'll mention this to her, and if you want to reach out to her as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great exchange property for someone in this price range. It's cash flowing on day one. You know, pretty easy management, but if you have other properties, other similar properties, particularly in the area, definitely helps to have, you know, economies of scale with your property management.
Yeah, it's a big parcel too, right there on the corner. That's 2.5 acres. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Greg?
No questions, just offers.
Just offers. Okay. All right. Well, there's a couple of good looking guys. So you appreciate everybody coming. Now, we do have one other presenter wants to talk. Let's see. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get him in at the beginning. Is he still on?
Hi.
There you are. How are you, Albert? Tell us briefly what you have.
Is multifamily residential development sites. And I'm hoping, wishing that I could hook up with some developers or builders and start developing stuff myself. I've got listed 2 side-by-side duplexes in Hollywood in a business opportunity zone. They each would bring in, if they weren't being occupied by people, about $10,000 a month rent. And someone brought me something off market. The owner says you could build 12 units, but I would think you might be able to build more. I just don't know how to go about finding that stuff out. But someone also sent me something from an investment group off market over by Formosa and Willoughby area, south of where the old Warner Brothers studios were. What it is 2 side-by-side buildings where you could build 20 new TOC apartment units with 6 being replacement units, they said. And the rents for one building is $8,000, the other is $5,700, $8,200 and $5,700. So that's, I think, $13,009, call it $14,000. They're asking $3,950,000. And then I've got 4 out of 10 left R2 lots in Silver Lake that a lender took back. And 3 of them are up steps. There's no street access. One is on a cul-de-sac. The one on the cul-de-sac is $225,000. And the 3 up the steps are $125,000 each. There are 2. So I need people that either want these properties as they are, except for the land, or that want to build. And I used to start looking to find people. I found a land planning attorney, but if I could bring together all the different aspects and start developing stuff myself for opportunities I see. So anybody have any ideas?
All right, why don't we see your phone number on there, Albert. And it's for those that can't see it, but you could see it in your feed. It's 310-721-7653. Reach out to Albert if you have any development ambitions or clients. So, all right.
Also, I forgot,
said,
in Colorado with an agent up there, I have a 9-unit motel, an hour and a half from Colorado Springs, $500,000. The lady passed away. It has a diner that's being rented as an office and a house in the back. And they would trade for vacant land or a house in Northern or San Diego County. So, okay, thank you.
all right. Thank you, Albert. We're going to have to end it there. I want to thank everybody for joining the call today. Next month is on the 21st. Try to get slides in on all your listings, Albert. Anybody else that you have properties, reach out to DJ or myself. And I again appreciate all your time and have a wonderful end of the summer here. Thanks for joining. Thank you to our sponsors.
Have a great day. Bye.
We'll see Greg in the next Viking movie.